Turn on my volume so I can hear people talking to me.
Wonder where he is with that background.
And okay, first
Where
order of
are
business
you?
is just yourself. And just double
Where
check
are
if you
you?
have your mic on. That might be the secret. I recognize the voice.
He's talking to you, County Executive.
Maybe John can mute that. I'm going.
Oh, what? Can you hear
Well,
me?
where am I?
Yeah, it just looks
I'm in a
so
blue
stark.
room with some really cool stuff behind me. Can't you tell?
No, all you have is a gray board behind you, and
Well, stark. I think it's pretty snazzy, but you can go how you want. First order of business is
this is going to be a fun Zoom.
Madam County Executive, we're going to do a little quick business before we have you to speak. All right. Off to a good start here. Thank you all for your patience. For the first order of business, we're going to reestablish ourselves in this session. We need to establish our officers. And to that, I'm going to turn to Delegate McCaskill to make nominations.
Good morning, everyone. I nominate Delegate, who's that guy named? Oh, yeah, Nick Allen for recording secretary. I also nominate Delegate Cheryl Pastor for vice chair. And then, of course, I nominate Delegate Eric Ebersol as chair.
I second.
Well, you're in a motivating mood. Look at your hand all up, propped up beside your head.
Leave me alone. I'll get there.
You're not a morning person, I can tell.
Hey, Mr. Chair, you're talking to mute. Mr. Chair, you're talking to mute. Eric is just going.
I'm not the chair yet, but soon
there.
I'm going to recognize you before y'all just start yelling in. Thank you for the second, Delegate Ross. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, is there a motion to close nominations? I didn't set anybody up for this, so anyone may do that.
So move, Mr. Chair. Close nominations.
Thank you, Delegate Phillips. And a second on that.
Second.
All right. With the nominations closed, we have 3 people nominated as a group. We have Delegate Nick Allen for recording secretary, Delegate Cheryl Pastor for vice chair, and myself, Delegate Ebersol, for chair. All in favor, please raise your hand or signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any opposition? Seeing none, we now have a slate of officers and we can continue with our meeting. There's John's going to put up the sheet of things that I sent to you. I'm not going to read it to you, I promise, of basic procedures. I'll just highlight a few things that I think are important. We've been doing this for a while, so we kind of know what to do. Kim Ross is a quick study, so I don't really think she's going to have a problem figuring it out. She did it last year, a great job of that. We will always start at 9 a.m., so there's no question. If we finish early, then you can go get yourself a cup of coffee and a donut before session starts. We take attendance. We have 20 members. 11 members constitutes a constitutional majority or an absolute majority. 11 members need to vote on any measure favorable or unfavorable on a bill before we send it or don't send it to committee in order for that motion to carry. If there is an amendment, we only need an amendment of the quorum present. Obviously, we need a quorum before we can actually call the meeting to order. We don't hold votes open after a meeting for people to come and vote. If you're not here and you missed the vote, unfortunately, you actually didn't vote. Also would heavily discourage and might find it difficult if people ask for a pass when they do it. I will take input as we go forward. If I should mix up the order or if that's really not necessary, you're all pretty decisive people and going alphabetically is okay with you. I did mix it up a couple times last year, so we have a sense of whether or not that worked. We will take testimony. We have enough number of people signed up, and I know we told the sponsors, but I'll reiterate that they have 2 minutes to testify, and then they can take questions after that. We will never cut somebody off in the middle of a sentence at 2 minutes, but we will mention to them at 2 minutes if they could finish their thought at that time. There are no dues this year because we're not going to get food because you can't eat through a screen. Bring your own donuts and coffee. I might, break open and send something around one day. You never know what'll happen there. And we have a list of John, if you will go to the quick list, and everybody has seen this also, a list of the subcommittee chairs and subcommittees. I put this out early in case anyone wanted some changes. Several of you asked for changes, and I was able to accommodate them. Beyond that, I don't think I have anything else of significance that you really need to hear. Like I said, we've been functioning pretty well, so there's not a great deal to worry about. With that, we're ready to go to our briefing. And we've heard her voice, the county executive online, and she's going to speak to us, and then she'll take some questions. So, Madam County Executive Klausmeier, you have the floor.
Can you hear me now?
We sure can. Thank you.
Okay. First thing, before I say anything, is I have a new pin on here today, and it's probably very hard to see, but we are working on Maryland 250 in Baltimore County for the 250th anniversary. So Pam is here with me, Case Meyer, and I've asked her. These are hot off the press. I don't know if they're pressed or metal, whatever they are. But anyway, she'll be bringing these pins down to you. So we're very proud of them. And if anyone has something in Baltimore County that you think would be like something great to see, please let me know or let Pam know. And we have Jonathan Schwartz is doing like a passport so people can go from place to place and get it all marked up. And in the end, they'll get a pin or something. So anyway, and that's first thing. The second thing is, I just want to let you all know that we're really working on the snow situation. We are having a press conference today at 10. I believe it's at the Woodlawn Snow Salt Dome. But we have all hands were on deck, and we really have been planning this for the past 3 days. So, and if you have any thoughts on that, please let me know. So, good morning, and thank you for joining Baltimore County today. And I wish we could be together in person, but I know from experience how busy you are right now and how things are being adjusted. I hope that each of you has had the opportunity to read over the information that we have given you when we had our little breakfast that morning. And I want to start things out by summarizing our goals again and priorities to make sure we're all on the same page again this session. And again, if you did not get the folder, Pam Casemeyer will have some folders to, and Kayanda will have them. Our focus this year is on fiscal stability, equitable state funding, needed infrastructure improvements, and continuing the work to build a strong, healthy, and vibrant, gosh, I'm tongue-tied here this morning, communities. That starts with our request for the state to honor its responsibilities and avoid shifting costs like last year, the teacher pensions and pre-K funding changes onto Baltimore County in the coming fiscal year. Keep your fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll be able to not have that happen again this year. We're also eager to ensure that programs like the locally operated transit system, the Eastern Baltimore County Access Study, and the Highway User Revenue Programs are funded equitably so that we can meet our responsibilities together and help our residents ensure success. These efforts also include our ongoing work to limit the impacts of the Key Bridge collapse, restore roads, ensure motorist safety, and stay in contact with the Moore administration and the Department of Transportation. We're committed to building excellent schools, supporting our teachers, and making sure every student receives a world-class education. In addition to our close work with Baltimore County Public School leadership, we're also requesting that the state continues to invest in programs like the Build to Learn Act and help students achieve and expand their potential. We're also continuing to advocate for state capital funding to support vital community projects like police and fire stations, parks, libraries, and the security square, while delivering solutions for ongoing problems like abandoned cemeteries and midge infestations, which seem to get worse every year and are affecting more and more communities across Baltimore County. And I can remember the first time I heard about midges, I didn't even know what Senator Salling was talking about, but I sure do now. Lastly, we want to continue to support public safety and healthcare by requesting state funds to continue our substance use and opioid treatment programs, as well as expanding our 311 non-emergency system. I'm committed to working with all of you, as well as our partners at every level and community leaders to deliver another balanced budget. Our residents expect us to provide for them year in and year out, and we're working hard to do just that. But I want to say it again, we need the state to come through on their promises and support us in order to make that happen. I'm grateful to all of you for joining us in these efforts, and we look forward to working with all of you to make 2026 another successful, great year for Baltimore County. Our government affairs team is here with me, and they're ready to help each and every one of you. Thank you once again for joining us this morning. With that, my team and I are happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Madam. We appreciate your time and coming to visit with us and to give us an overview of where we stand. I do see our government relations, Kayenda Twesaje is on her picture. I don't see Pam's, but I imagine she's
Pam is right next to me.
Oh, she's sitting with you. There you go. Very good.
The Myers are here.
And there's a couple other people in the office, and the office is, as we said the other day at your meeting, but not everyone was there. The office is fairly easy to find on State Circle. It's the one with the car elevator in it. And
Yes, and I think that's important to say, and I'll say this again. Diana, Sean, and Pam are going to be in Annapolis, and not every day. Pam won't be there every day, but the office will be opened every day.
great. And
So,
I've stopped by already, and there's always somebody there, and they're always happy to chit chat. If you
yeah,
want to see
and
where the
please,
office is, it's up on the second floor and pretty easy to find. It's a weird
yeah,
elevator, but
get
just
to
go
know
to-
them, please. They're
Yeah.
nice people, really. They don't bite.
I hope not. I would think that would be something you would vet before you hired them, but thank you very much.
Well, that was on the application. Do you
Good.
bite?
Glad you're covering that. All right, let's go. I see a delegate instead of this fun banter. I see that we have Bob Long has his hand raised and would like to ask a question. Delegate Long.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning,
Thank
Bob.
you. Good morning,
Delegate.
thank you. It's Bob. I'd like to find out, I think Baltimore County and the Baltimore City or somebody needs to write the federal government as far as getting our federal leaders about funding for the midges, because I understand the state's not going to have no money, and I know that we're going to have a tough time here in Baltimore County. Why can't we get some federal funding? Send a letter to our federal delegation and see if they would help fund that. Would it be something you think would work?
Something with our speakers changed and this went out.
Under here, maybe
I don't know.
We can hear you.
You're not muted.
We can hear you though.
My internet.
Answer the question.
That thing is
Madam
Okay,
County
okay.
Executive, you're not muted.
All of a sudden it went out. I don't know what's.
I
under
kicked
there.
Hey,
Hello, you're not muted.
I got
Oh,
it.
yeah, it's over
Hey,
there.
Madam
I'll
County
come back.
Executive and Pam, we can hear you. So if you're trying to be heard, your mic's
I don't
open.
know. Is that anything else?
Okay, they can't hear us.
Did,
Um,
okay.
I
Mr. Chair,
think they don't
could
need to be heard. I think they're talking among
yeah,
themselves.
Mr. Chair, could we
Thank
mute
you.
her on your end?
Yeah,
Oh,
John,
there
can
we
we mute
go.
them until they get themselves sorted out?
Okay. Oh,
We're sorted out.
All right.
okay.
Thanks. Great to have you back. You disappeared into the ether there for a moment or two. We could hear your voice, and now we're happy to have you back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
something happened with the internet. I
Any-
don't know what, but everything went out.
Anyway,
Okay.
we will be writing some letters to the federal government, and maybe now's the time to start doing it to talk about the midges, because they really have gotten out of hand. And the other thing that the county executive in Harford County said they're coming up their way to the Bush River. So the more it gets more people involved, the better it is, I think. I mean, even though that means it's spreading, but there'll be more people talking about it and wanting it. And I did see the Secretary of Ag on opening day, and he said he's going to be fighting for it as well. So
Right.
we
Well, I know,
realize it's a real problem.
right.
It's not going to go away.
Right. It's actually a health concern, and we need to make sure we can do where we can to stop the migration of them. Number one. Number two, stop the source of what's causing them
Yes.
if we can. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your input.
Thank you.
You delegate. Delegate Naraki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to jump in on the Midge conversation a little bit. We had the Secretary of Ag in ENT the other day. I brought this topic up. He's absolutely willing to help. But Madam County Executive, I would suggest also engaging Congressman Harris. I know that he wants to help on this issue with the waterfront communities he represents in Eastern Baltimore County, and he's also concerned about Harford County. I believe his role as the chair of subcommittee chair of Ag Approps could be very helpful, because this funding ultimately comes through the U.S. Department of Agriculture to the State Department of Ag, and so on and so forth.
Okay, good idea. And maybe between your delegation and the Senate delegation, you guys could write a letter to him as well.
Sure. Mr. Chair, would that be appropriate?
Could you do that?
We generally have not written letters as a group, but one of the things that we do is if someone has a letter, then we publicize it among us and people can sign on.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
but-
could I then write a letter, and would that be okay to then send it to John to maybe get out to the group?
Yeah, we'd be happy to share it through John
Okay.
if people would like to sign on. We're just not going to put on letterhead or anything, but we're happy to identify ourselves as members of the House delegations.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And I'll check with Senate as well when we talk with them, because it's really becoming a real problem. So, well, I mean, it's been a problem, but it's just hitting everywhere now. So, okay.
Thank you. It sounds like we might have a little funding concern there. So that's an important thing, because funding is always a concern. We do appreciate that. I don't see any other hands up. And so that means that people are feeling pretty comfortable. I wanted to ask your team, and you can encourage them to share information with us over the weekend about snow emergency, various efforts that are being made to clear and things like that. We all have robust networks and always like to share information with our communities, and we'll be happy. Many of us would be happy to be a conduit for information that you want to share.
Okay.
If they can send it by mail to us, and that would be great. I know that Kayenda has her own mail list, and for that kind of thing, you can just send it to us. It doesn't have to go through John. It's not an official act. But I think that if we have information, it makes you look like and us look like we're on the mark a little bit.
Yeah, we'll pull something together. We've been meeting internally, and they've got some, plans, and they're meeting again today. So we'll get We'll get you some
Yeah.
information.
We'll get it to you.
Yeah,
and
there's gonna be,
there.
there's a phone number, there's an emergency operations center where people will be there to accept calls and
Yeah.
things, and we'll get you all that information.
And as I
Great.
said, we've had, well, we're having a press conference at 10 in Woodlawn. But
Mhm.
did
Okay.
we have another one? Yeah, we have, no, this is the big one, so.
Is that press conference specific to the weather?
Oh, yes, and we've
Okay.
spent like
Yes.
2 hours yesterday,
All right, you guys can come on in
with
here now if you
department
want,
heads and,
Yeah.
and
so that
that's.
we don't, I mean, you can do, if you'd
Delegate
rather,
Cardin, can you mute, please? Thank you. Go on. I'm sorry, Madam
No, we,
County Executive.
as I said, we spent 2 hours or more yesterday afternoon just getting things in line, make it through all the different departments, and we are going to be opening the, what do you call what?
Yeah, Emergency
yeah,
Operations Center.
tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the evening. So,
Yeah.
As I
and we
know-
will get a number for you that you can share with the delegation. So,
Okay. And I know you're all busy, but as much as you can keep us in the loop, we can keep
yes, we
our
will.
communities
You're
in the loop.
very important
So
to us.
thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else from the throne in Towson? Are we good to go?
We're good
All
to
right.
go. Because we have to get to Woodlawn now.
Okay.
At
Have a
10
great
o'clock.
time. It's a great
We're by
place to go. I
sundown.
think my district mates would say Woodlawn's a great place to go. So that I hope you have a great time there.
Okay.
We would
All right.
indeed.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, that concludes our briefing today with County Executive. We'll have another guest next week. I think John will confirm that it's the Superintendent of Schools. We're going to now move to bill hearings. I will remind you that if we have witnesses, we will bring them up. We'll bring up those in favor first and those in opposition second. And we will limit the original testimony to 2 minutes. We put this one first because it's an easy one, but it's my bill, so I'm going to hand over the metaphoric and virtual gavel to the vice chair to run this particular hearing on this bill. So, Madam Vice Chair, if you would please begin this hearing on House Bill 327.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 327, Education Board of Community College Trustees for Baltimore County membership. As Chair Ebersol said, this is his bill and he is moving aside because he has an active role in it. Let me ask you this, Mr. Chair, do you have people here? I don't see whether you have people here who want to speak on it. And then if not,
we have no
I'll go
witnesses.
to, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
No, what did you say? Go ahead.
We have I have no witnesses. I can
Okay,
just describe
thank you. All right, then if you will describe it and then or talk about it a bit, and then we will see if there are any questions or comments from the delegation.
Absolutely.
Thank
The president of Community College Baltimore County, Dr. Curtinitis, and 2 members of the Board of Trustees, including the chair of the board, have come to me and said, with the change in council size, since the trustees have 2 members from each council district plus a at-large to get the number odd, that they feel that it would become an untenably large number, and they'd like to know if we could shrink it to make it manageable. What this bill proposes is 1 member from each of the new 9 council districts be appointed. They're still appointed, not elected, but 1 be appointed who lives in each one of the 9 council districts. And then they still want at large, but you don't want to add 1 at large because that's an even number. So if they could have 2 at large for a grand total of 11 trustees. We looked very carefully at the current list of trustees and who was going off and who was going on. We spent some time with the governor's appointment board and with the board of trustees, looked at where the people who were continuing lived, and lo and behold, it worked out well. We were able to position 9 people, 1 in each of the 9 coming councilmanic districts, and then 2 at-larges from, and it worked out perfectly where we had more than one person from a council district. We can make them at large. That's the rather complicated, uncodified language you see at the end of this bill, which is settling that for the first time. But in general, they have departure dates, and upon departure, it becomes incumbent upon the governor to appoint new trustees and make sure that they live in the proper councilmanic district going forward. They heartily back this bill. If there's any question to that end, we can certainly bring that forward. The Senate is also cross-filing this bill so that we can move it through smoothly. And with that, I conclude my testimony.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair Ebersol. Do we have any questions or comments from the delegation? Okay, I guess that was very simple. Thank you. All righty, then I'm going to turn the gavel back over to you.
Thank you,
Chair
Madam.
Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. So that we're going to begin testimony on House Bill 96. This is Baltimore County School Board Nominating Commission membership, alterations being made to it. Delegate Phillips is the original sponsor of this bill. And Delegate Phillips, you have the floor to describe the bill to us, please.
Sure, Mr. Chair. Good morning, my colleagues. This bill really does 3 things. It adds 2 members to the school board, to the nominating commission. Excuse me. Excuse me. It adds 2 members to the nominating committee, and it clarifies and replaces a membership category. The 2 members would be one from AFSCME and the other from, I get my notes in front of me, gifted and talented representatives. Apologize, guys. And then the third, the Baltimore County, the Baltimore County Chamber of Commerce is no longer in existence, but there is a greater Baltimore Chamber of Commerce, and that organization would take the place of what is currently part of the commission today. You caught me off guard, Mr. Chair, because I was actually working on something else, so you guys got to give me a second to get back to my notes. All right, so let me do this again. It expands the Baltimore County Board Nominating Commission from 19 to 21 members by adding representatives from AFSCME Local 3, Council 434, and the Citizens Advisory Council for Gifted and Talented Education. It formally updates the Greater Baltimore County Chamber of Commerce seat, and it establishes a staggered transition plan for member terms expiring in either 2028 or 2030 to ensure organizational continuity while maintaining the commission's mandate to reflect the county's geographic and racial diversity. That's what the bill does.
Thank you. And I probably should have warned you that we did pass out a list of order. We're not going in numerical order.
It's okay.
We're sticking to certain subject areas as we kind of move through here. Okay. And so thank you. We have one person signed up, but I don't believe she's online. If she is, maybe under a different name. Julie Henn is signed up to testify as opposed to this bill. Okay, and my information is that she's not currently online, so we will pass over that opposition testimony and see if there are any questions from the delegation at this time. Okay, seeing none. Wait, I thought so. You moved over to the
just a real quick.
Yep.
Has there been any? Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the bill. Seems like a relatively simple bill. I'm just curious, is there any issue with whether it be 19 or 21 members being onerous? And is that the right number? Are we getting into an area where we're talking about just too many people to control, or are we still good? That's really the only question for Delegate Phillips.
Yeah, so I think we're still good, Delegate Cardin. The commission is fairly large as it stands today. So I don't think the difference between 19 and 21 is really that significant. And the whole purpose of the commission is to really have a broad perspective of our community to weigh in. And once again, they aren't determining who the members will be. They're determining who gets recommended to
The governor.
to the governor to be considered.
Thank you for the bill. It seems like a good bill.
Yeah, and I think Delegate Phillips, you'd confirm that we have a cross file being filed in the Senate.
Yes, there
on
is
this.
a cross file with Senator Sidnor.
Right, okay. Are there any other questions or comments on the bill at this time? Okay, seeing none, that concludes the hearing on House Bill 96. Thank you, Delegate Phillips. We're now going to move to House Bill 41. This is sponsored by Delegate McCaskill. This is Board of Education, alterations to elected member districts and establishment of redistricting process. Delegate McCaskill, you have the floor.
Good morning again. Are you all getting any feedback? No?
No.
You might just. 1 second.
Yeah, we're doing fine.
Okay, 1 second. Are you all getting, I now I'm not getting feedback. I may need to keep my video off. Just give me 1 second. I'm here though, I really am. Good morning, everyone. So HB 41, which is going to be cross-filed by Senator Sidnor, I forgot his bill number, I think HSB 656. Essentially, this bill provides just a thoughtful and balanced solution. Rather than expanding the school board to 9, the bill maintains the current 7-member structure and establish a clear, transparent redistricting process. So, of course, we should know, I will hope we do, that back in that our council was expanded to 9 districts, 9 councilmatic districts. And so this is to help keep the structure. With speaking to many of our stakeholders all across the county, not the country, all across the county, it became clear to Senator Sidnor and myself that having a larger school board was not preferred, but also it was clear that decreasing the number of the gubernatorial appointments was also not acceptable. And so there was many conversations, and the senator decided to strike a balance of keeping things status quo, if you will. And so what this House bill and Senate bill will do, it's going to do several key benefits, like preserve stability and continuity, ensure representation that reflects educational needs, provide clear, predictable transition, uphold voters' intent as well. We, we've had conversation, even with our council members, and when they expanded the council, they didn't have authority to bind us to enact any legislation with the numbers of school board members, right? And so the authority literally rests on us to do so. And so this is to maintain the 7 board districts, keep a hybrid of the 4 plus our 1 student, member. Some folks say there hasn't really been any real benefit to doing, such. And I disagree. I think one of the things that we need to definitely keep in mind is that we need to make sure that we are striking some kind of balance, and we need to make sure that we are having folks, that's on this board that is showing specialized expertise. And I believe, and so does the senator, believes that these appointments are necessary. And so with that, I am asking for a favorable when we move forward with votes. I'm going to actually turn my camera on because it's weird, but any questions, feel free. I may have to flip back and forth.
Thank you, Delegate. Okay, I'm not sure I have this accurate. I have 4 witnesses, Mary Taylor, Amy Adams, Julie Henn, and Yara Sheikh. I have Mary Taylor in support, but she's coming from the same organization where I see opposition. Mary, is that correct? Are you in support?
Delegate Eversole, this is Amy Adams.
Yes.
Mary, it was to testify on Bill 89 that got bumped to next week, so she is not testifying on this.
Okay, so she's not online. All right.
Correct.
So we're going to first allow for questions because then we'll have opposition and we'll take questions generally about opposition. But at this time, do any delegates have questions for the sponsor? And I see Delegate Naraki's hand up. I'm assuming that it falls into that category.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I do have a question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Delegate, thank you for the bill. I appreciate you willing to kind of step into this process. I know that it has been a difficult one, I'm sure, to navigate. I do have a question, though, sort of structurally looking to the future, because it talks about in 2034 when we would get to that point with redistricting and new maps and so on and so forth. So as I read it and I understand it, it seems like we would have 2 separate map processes occurring in Baltimore County, one for the school board, one for the county council. And if I'm reading that properly, to me, I think that there is a possibility. I mean, we've seen with the recent council maps that there were lawsuits or the potential for lawsuits because of the way that those maps were drawn. In the future, that could potentially open up the county for 2 separate lawsuits, one over the school board maps, one over the council maps. Why is that advantageous to kind of go through maybe 2 of those processes as opposed to going through one process there?
Again, I apologize. I'm having some feedback over here. So the beginning of the census for 2023, the school board districts will be reapportioned after the census. It'll be effective until the next, it's throughout the census. And so the redistricting process is intended to pretty much mimic the one done in Montgomery County. And so our county school board would, submit a proposed reapportioned maps to our Baltimore County delegation by, I believe it's December the 1st of the calendar year, immediately following the census. I think it's the 1st. Let me check something real quick. I think it's by the 1st. Yeah, it's the December 1st of the calendar year, immediately following the census. And then we'll take a proposal under consideration and introduce legislation that the next year, the next legislative session, creating the school board district for 2023. We are not obligated to accept the proposal, and we may even introduce legislation that differs from what the proposal is. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
I'm not sure that does, Delegate. I appreciate what you're saying there. I just I'm not sure that gets to the question I had there about kind of the potential for two separate lawsuits challenging two different sets of maps here, which in theory could cost the county twice as much to defend those kinds of lawsuits. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it doesn't come into the category of a question, but I appreciate your commentary there. Delegate Szeliga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So,
thank you.
Okay, I don't know. It may be just my technology from, so in the bill, keeping in mind, we remove portions of the bill and that DLS will draw the maps, not the proposal from the school board. That's not in the bill.
There was an original version of the bill written that had that procedure. That has been removed. I think Doug McCaskill's correct. We're looking at it right now. Yeah. That's just informational. Delegate Szeliga, let's come back to you again, please. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Delegate McCaskill. I'm thinking like a voter, like a citizen that lives in Baltimore County. I'm a little confused about what this is going to be. So people are going to go in November or in the primary in June to the polls to vote for obviously all the statewide offices and county offices. And then they're going to vote for a school board, and that is going to not align with their council. Is that correct? Is that the way you see this going?
Correct.
Okay, so voters will say, will be voting for a school board member that aligns with current council, but not the council that, the new council, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then in 4 years, so in 2030 or in 2028, are they going to have more council, another school board election?
We will, and no, we're, and so in 2030.
Okay, so it'll be aligned with.
It's in 4, yeah.
With the gubernatorial and the council, it'll align more so with the council elections, because that's our county election. So then in 2030, there'll be another election and it'll be still not aligned with the count. Is it ever going to align with the council districts?
Yes. So listen, so thank you for asking that. So the goal is for it to be in alignment in 2034. Once the census is done for 2030, we know that takes a minute to have our real numbers. Now, we've worked on this quite some time, and the feedback that we were receiving was simply, listen, one, it was a lot of confusion. 2, folks did not want to increase the school board, right? And then they also did not want to decrease the number, decrease the number as well. And so, we decided to decreasing the number of gubernatorial appointments was unacceptable as well. So we tried to create some kind of happy medium. And so we know that the last census was flawed due to COVID. And so in 2030, the goal is to have real numbers so that we can align properly. And so that is the intent for moving into 2034.
And now, I don't know if there's an amendment to the bill, but the bill before me on page 2, paragraph 2, lines 9 to 12.
All right, give me one second. Where's the bill?
Because I think the chair mentioned that there may be an amended version. I'm a little confused by this bill.
Okay, wait a minute. Where's the bill? Wait a minute. It's in my envelope. No worries. Let me grab it. Okay, go back. Go back to your page. Go back to where you were identifying.
Okay, House Bill 41, page 2, lines 9 to 12.
Okay,
paragraph
I'm there.
2, beginning with the 2034 general election, one member shall be elected from each of the 7 school board districts. So it sounds like it's never going to align with the council districts.
So it never, and correct me if anyone needs to, it never aligned with the councilmatic map.
Yeah, it did. It does today. So it always aligned with so the school board member was aligned with the council district. So every councilman had an elected school board member. So now you're removing that relationship. I agree with you. I was about to call you Senator McCaskill, giving you a promotion. Delegate McCaskill, that it is confusing, but I'm not sure this is going to make it less confusing, because voters will now need to understand multiple districts. And I think Delegate Ebersol, we had talked about this last year, finding a way to keep it aligned with the council districts because that made sense. So thank you. I'll let other people have questions. I'll do a good job of studying the bill as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Just a point of clarification. That's the way the bill's written, that going forward, it would remain 7. I'm sure they'd have to be redrawn to balance after the census, but it would remain 7 with 4 appointeds according to this bill.
So like I said, it will never align with the council districts.
I suppose it couldn't. I suppose unless they went to 7 districts again. But in the current setup, no, it would not. All right, Delegate Guyton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Delegate, for bringing this bill. I recognize that you and the Senator have worked on this very long and hard over the past probably 2 years at this point since this conversation began. I do have a question for you because in my view, sometimes the simplest answer makes the most sense. And the way this bill is written, it seems like it actually confuses the issue for voters more than we need to in this situation. And I guess I'm just trying to understand the motivation behind doing it this way, making it more complicated than it could be if we just aligned with the districts. Most people would understand that and it makes sense. And I heard a couple of things mentioned, and I'd like for you, if you could, to explain these a little bit more. One thing I heard was concerns about the numbers of people on the board. Now, I served on the State Board of Education, which is added to often by this body, which is probably larger than the board would be. So I'm not sure that is a concern that I would share. The other thing that you said, though, that is concerning to me is something about the 2020 census and redistricting process being flawed. I mean, that is a process that redistricted all of us. I have not heard that before. And I just want to be careful that we don't put something like that on the record without actual evidence that process was flawed. I would like for you to address that so I can understand that more.
Well, we know, well, I'll speak for myself, that with the 2020 census, being that it was COVID, that the numbers aren't very accurate. They came as close as possible for many reasons, whether it was folks could not knock at the door, folks were not filling out their, census correctly. We really need to take a look at the time that we were in 2020, right? So moving into 2030, hopefully there are no pandemics that we have to move through.
Okay, so I'm going to interrupt here, and we're not really on the bill. We are on a different subject. And so we can discuss the efficacy of the 2020 census at a time. I understand that Delegate McCaskill asserted that, and there's a question whether that's so. But I don't want us to wind down into that at this point. We're talking about moving forward. Delegate Guyton, I'm still going to give you the floor if you have a further question.
No, I appreciate that, but since that was one of the explanations for bringing the bill in this form, I thought we might need to address that and see if there was any data actually representing that. No, so let's just go back to the other question. I guess I still don't understand the purpose of making what could be a simple process very confusing. So could you go back to the reasons behind doing it this way rather than just simply aligning it with the councilmatic districts?
So when we bring legislation, we bring legislation because there is some concern, and there is a concern with constituents. Constituents supported the bill back then, yet last year, and they still had concerns this legislative session. And so this is why the bill was brought back. There was concern about being confused around the, 7, how many board members there should be, how many should be appointed by the governor, how many should be elected. And so again, I'll say that many stakeholders and having conversations, did not want to have a larger school board. At the same time, they also did not want to decrease the gubernatorial appointments, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, many stakeholders agreed that we would have a better alignment come the 2030 census when it comes to the 7 board districts establishing, and establishing a redistricting process. And so the reapportioned districts will be equal to the population, right? For the 7. And so the goal is for 2026 and 2030 that we move status quo, and also allowing a hybrid so that we can have, we can focus more not on political, but on also, on focusing on our children. We've all seen what has happened with our school board here in Baltimore County over some time. And so this is the purpose for bringing this particular piece of legislation at this particular time. We had a whole lawsuit.
I appreciate it.
Almost with, another one of our voting rights violations with redistricting before. And so the maps, well, I won't go there. But anyway, the purpose is because there was confusion with stakeholders about there was some confusion about the redistricting and the maps being, the districts being expanded. But there also was lots of conversation around whether it should be larger, whether we should have gubernatorial appointments. No one wanted to, most folks we talked to didn't want to take it past 11. And addition, plus our student member. And so this seemed to be a compromise with keeping it hybrid, not going past 11.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm fine. I think my question's been answered. I recognize and appreciate that you've obviously had constituents who are very concerned about this. I think some of us haven't had those same concerns brought to us, so we're coming at it from a different place. My
Sure.
folks just want it to be simple, but thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries.
And thank you. We've got a lot of hands up here. I'm going to mention that during a hearing, we're generally asking questions. Commentary can be made as part of the question. Keep your preambles minimal. There will be plenty of time when this bill comes to a vote to also express opinions as we come to the vote. So this is more about clarifications and questions for the sponsor. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Delegate McCaskill, thank you for bringing this bill. Really, I have a couple clarifying questions. So first of all, I just want to clarify, because I think there was some confusion. When you said the redistricting process in 2020 was flawed, you meant the county council redistricting, not the state redistricting. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there was a lawsuit about that redistricting, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I just thought that there was some confusion about that. And then the other thing is, do our congressional and state districts align with our county council districts?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Do the congressional districts and the state legislative districts, do those align with the county council districts?
No.
Are they the same? And does that cause any problems that those are not the same?
Not to my knowledge.
Thank you. And do we, as a legislative team, have any problems with communicating with the 3 council members or the 2 congressmen who overlap our district?
I would think not.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm done.
And thank you, Delegate. Delegate Mangione.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing the bill. And I just want to understand, is this bill, for example, I just want to make sure, again, I understand it clearly. The county council right now, I guess, decides how the school board maps are decided, basically. And now will that take will that diminish their authority, I guess, and put this more in the state delegation's hands?
It will not, it will not diminish.
The school board has never drawn its own districts, okay?
But okay, so
they don't, we've relied on council, but I want to stress that school board districts are, since the school board is a state agency, that how they are elected or how they are selected is a decision that is made at the state level and always has been. We have simply decided in the law to defer to the council district structure. But that's because our law says it is so, not because it's in the Constitution or anything like that.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify. Yep, I'm just trying to learn here. Thank you.
Sure. Delegate Pasteur, good morning. You're muted.
First, I want to thank Delegate Ruth, because she actually asked a couple of questions that I was going to ask. My question really actually worked around the number of the board members of the board. If you notice that in the state of Maryland, are you aware, Delegate McCaskill, that the other school boards, what the other school boards are doing in terms of the sizes of their school boards?
And
In
yes.
Maryland. What is, which way are they going, up or down?
Down.
Right. And so that is the trend, because there was a comment about that not being important. Well, it is important. I'm the only one who sat on a local school board knows how important it is to have a manageable one. All right, so Delegate Ruth has asked some of mine, and I just wanted that question pointed out. So we also needed time. Was that a part of the thinking, Delegate McCaskill, in terms of being able to look at the hybrid board? Because in fact, Tabco has brought that question up. I don't want to add something new, but we did need time, which goes to why we've done what we've done for the 26th, obviously, to take a look at that, because is it not now part of the process that the governor has for? So wouldn't we need the time to address that question, whether he still would have 4, 2, or none? Was that a part of the discussion?
Yes, that was part of the discussion, because the timing in this and that also sets us to why some folks have said why so long, why 2034. It gives us time for election cycles. It gives us time for the standard that we have now and how to maneuver and reapportion our hybrid and our elected members of the school board. But absolutely, it gives us absolutely time to transition to do so.
Thank you. Thank you for answering those.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Delegate Long, I see your hand up.
Hello? Hello?
We recognize you, Delegate Long.
Thank you. Connection's not real great right here. Question I have is there any concern of conflict of interest having a school board member representing two different councilmanic districts? Just for instance, if we have a representative that's representing Spears Point and Rosedale, and they're both in line for a new school or whatever they need, wouldn't it be a conflict of interest there? How could they actually represent, overlapping districts and be fair to each district? I'm just a question. Thank you.
Delegate McCaskill, did you want to address that? You're muted.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, this is so weird. So to your point, Delegate Long, that could actually happen today within a district.
That's because of the school board representation. One of the things I had suggested last year to have 9 members on the school board. I know there's a they do not want to increase the numbers. So why don't we just remove the governor's appointments and let the people be represented by their vote, and reappoint 2 more members in 32 after the new census come out. Let the governor have his choice then. I mean, it's really, if you think about what's happening, it's you know, it's not fair. I mean, if you're going to have a problem with not being fairly represented at school board, and I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully we can come up, I'm sure we can come up with a solution.
Sure. So, okay, fair question. So literally SB 656 proposes a framework, right? Proposes a framework for moving forward for the school board. And when you have, in many folks' opinion, not just mine, and there of course has been some controversy. However, in many folks, many stakeholders' opinion, having a hybrid school board strikes a balance, right? And when, in many opinions, folks feel that elected officials can be easily persuaded and not necessarily strike the expertise that the governor's board would provide.
Thank you, Delegate. We're double checking SB 656. Since it's been
Is it
referenced.
SB 656? I may have.
That's last year's version of the bill. Is that right? Just in case we're getting that. I think the current version on the Senate side is in the 40s somewhere.
Oh, it was early.
Yes, but you
I'll
referenced
correct,
SB 656.
right there.
I was just trying to make sure that so if people were understanding your answer,
Referencing.
that 656 is last year's version of the bill in the Senate. Is that correct? Yes, I'm seeing a couple nods from some other folks.
Okay, so it's SB 40.
Right, for this year. Correct.
Right.
Thank you. All right, just clarification on that.
Sure, thank you. I appreciate it. It's so stuck in my head from last.
That's all right. No, that's all right. Just want to make sure that we don't confuse people.
Sure.
The last hand
Delegate
I see
Long.
up is Delegate Forbes' hand, and Delegate Forbes, you have the floor. You're muted. Delegate Forbes, you're muted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Delegate McCaskill, for working so hard on a bill that clearly people have concerns about, and for your passion for the subject matter. For the good of the body, if I could have a moment of indulgence to share with the members of the delegation that the Board of Elections met January 7th. Based on a letter from the Attorney General's office last year, in our current code, it calls for 1 member elected from each of the 7 councilmatic districts. And the AG's office said the 7 takes precedence. So in the 2026 election, there will be 7 school board districts that do not align with the 9 councilmatic districts. And that is set on January 7th. Our Board of Elections met. They had their proposed maps with all of the precincts, and that is set for this election cycle. The districts don't align for this election cycle. Additionally, they talked about it requiring 15 additional precincts to be able to do that, because legally everyone who goes into a precinct gets the same ballot. And with the misalignment of districts, there is a cost involved because there have to be 15 precincts, additional precincts, and those are staffed. So I just wanted to share that with everyone going forward as we consider this bill and consider other versions that may come forward. So thank you.
And that's important information. If you read the law and pay attention to it right now, if we were to do nothing, the law is in conflict with itself because it refers to council districts and it also refers to the number 7. And many of us have gotten opinions from the Attorney General that says what they think takes precedence is the number 7, because it's mentioned more often, and seems, in their opinion, that's the guide right now. So that's, as you say, what the Board of Elections is proceeding under. This bill would codify that, and I think, in my opinion, and this is in my opinion, would reduce the likelihood that we would find ourselves in a situation where we would have lawsuits over that interpretation, because that is an interpretation of the law. Delegate Forbes, I added to you. So was what I'm saying? I'm going to ask you if what I'm saying is accurate.
I don't have an opinion on what you just said.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Well, I had said Delegate Forbes the last, but there's my good friend Delegate Metzger. Let's go ahead and recognize him for our last question.
All right. The question several of them might want to jump in, but if we have 4 already, and the governor can the governor appoint 2 and eventually get to the 9, or I want to make sure we just vent on just the 4.
Dr. McCaskill, you're muted to answer. There you go.
I have to, because if I have on both, then I get feedback. So I have to remember to keep switching out. But I wanted to look my good friend in the eye. That's all. So I had to turn off my video. Yes, he could. The governor could absolutely do that. However, again, and I think I've said it quite a few times, how with the 4 instead of the 2, it creates a balance and a level of expertise that we may not, shall not, or will not, but that we may not have with all the electeds.
I'm following you, and I'm trying to get my head around this. I just feel like there should be some more conversation, that we're all trying to get on the same page, but there's a way to get there, but I'm not sure we're getting there today. I just don't feel it. So somebody else might want to jump in there and say something.
And we're not voting on the bill today.
I was going to say, I think today is the perfect time to have these exact conversations, right? So that we can make sure that we are striking a balance for our students.
Well, that's kind of why I'm opening up for somebody else to kind of jump in there to kind of codify what we're trying to do.
Okay, but I don't see any other hands up. Delegate Iraqi, I think what we're going to do is move to the witnesses are here for opposition and let them speak. We're going to attempt to put a cell phone in front of a camera and do 2 minutes. I'm going to do 2 minutes on my own phone. So if you want to do it on yours, like I said, we won't be militant about this, but we do have to watch our time. And so I'm going to go first to Julie Henn, who's going to speak in opposition. Ms. Henn, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the delegation. My name is Julie Henn, and I'm testifying today in opposition of House Bill 41. This bill proposes creating entirely new school board districts that differ from our current county council districts. While the intent may be to adjust representation, the practical result will be the loss of vital coordination between local leaders. It creates a system where a single school community might be represented by a board member from one district and a council member from another. This breaks a working partnership. Currently, a school's priorities become a district's priorities. That district's team, the council member and board member, work together to support the school on both short and long-term needs. Crucially, the team coordinates its constituent service on school-related issues. If you pass House Bill 41, you break that alignment. A constituent with a school issue will no longer have a unified team working for them. They will have 2 representatives from different areas with potentially competing priorities. I believe the path forward is simple and fair. We need 9 elected members aligned directly with the 9 council districts. This structure preserves the district team approach and ensures that every part of the county has distinct, coordinated representation. We should be making it easier for leaders to collaborate on school issues, not harder. I ask for you to please oppose House Bill 41. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for your alacrity. You are listed as a Board of Ed member, but I assume you're speaking on your own behalf here and not on behalf of the board. Is that accurate?
I am speaking personally as an individual elected member of District 5, and as one half of the partnership I speak to preserve. Thank you very much, Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you very much. All right, with that, we will go to Amy Adams from the Baltimore County Parent and Student Coalition, also in opposition.
Good morning, and apologies for the lack of camera. I cannot figure out the technical issues this morning.
We had our own problems too, so there you go.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today in opposition to House Bill 41. HB maintains the current 7 elected school board of education members despite the update and expansion of the county council. Separating the county districts, council districts, and the school representative districts overly complicates a down ballot election, risking voter confusion and possible disengagement. The rationale for expanding the county council cited factors such as population growth, demographic shifts, and disparities in representation, resulting in a creation of new councilmatic districts. It's worth considering why the same reasoning, particularly regarding the need to avoid the dilution of minority voting strength, would not similarly apply to the representation on the BCPS school board. Our organization would back legislation that would increase the number of elected board members to 9, aligning with the expanded county council districts. This proposal would then reduce the number of appointed members from 4 to 2, while keeping the student member. Having 9 elected board members, 1 from each council district, would make it easier for the county government and the school system to work together in partnership and further promote diversity on the school board. We really appreciate your consideration and encourage you to oppose HB 41. Thank you so much for the support of your students.
Thank you for coming to testify. We have one more person who's going to testify in opposition, and that's Yar Sheikh. Ms. Sheikh, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Delegate McCaskill, for bringing the issue to the floor. I am, though, in opposition of the bill as it stands now, and would be in support of a bill that moves to 9 elected aligned school districts, and this is why. Participation now in Maryland is misaligned, and we see that low salience contests increase ballot roll-off and reduce representativeness. And I'm going to use the 2022 election as my example. So the governor's race garnered 272,054 votes. The Board of Education contests garnered 199,000 votes, which is 27% fewer. So we're seeing a drop off. We're only seeing 272,000 voters across the state of Maryland. And then in Baltimore County, we're seeing a drop off of the number of votes of Baltimore County voters, 272,000 across Baltimore County. And then we're seeing 72,000 people choose not to vote for the Board of Education already. The new 9-district map creates 2 majority Black districts and 1 majority minority district, expanding opportunities for voters of color to elect candidates of choice. And what we see across research is that when you increase voter confusion by creating a 7-district unaligned map with the councilmatic for the education districts, you disproportionately affect residents of color that are voting. They choose not to vote disproportionately down ballot in the state of Maryland. Maryland districts are fiscally dependent on the state and county government, one of only 4 states across the country. So this disempowers the ability of board members to coordinate on capital, transportation, and land use with their county representatives. So although you're all elected at the state and federal level and work well together, the board members need alignment with the council members so that they can come to you requesting money, come to you at the federal level. And then, of course, there's the fiscal expense of maintaining 7 education districts. And if you
Ms. Sheikh, that beautiful music you heard is the end of 2 minutes. If you could give us a summary sentence, please.
Thank you. Yeah, my summary sentence is that this bill does not align in the same way as Montgomery County education districts. Montgomery County education voting districts align with the Montgomery County Public School education districts. We don't have 7 education districts in Baltimore County Public School, so they won't align. They will be created by the state for the county.
Thank you very much.
I'm in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now I will allow for questions of any one of the 3 opposition testimonies. Delegate Pasteur.
Thank you. I want to first ask Ms. Henn if she will give just a few examples, well, just a couple examples where it is absolutely imperative as a school board member running the school, helping to run the school system and its direction, where we would need to have that particular close relationship with just one council person as opposed to needing the council. I agree that we do need the council, but where we could not have conversation with one that was not in our residential area, because then that would mute and make moot the four who are at large, because they are not connected with any council person. And also, I will do this with Ms. Shake later about the assertion that maybe I misunderstood about how that African Americans don't vote down ballot. So,
Unfortunately.
but we can have that conversation some other time. But I would just like to bring up the first point about having or it being necessary that we are aligned with our county people. And what does that say in terms of the four who are appointed as at large?
Thank you, Delegate. And Ms. Hen, that question was directed to you. Would you care to respond?
I'd love to. Thank you, Delegate Ebersol, and thank you, Delegate Pastor, for the question. And it is nice to speak with you even virtually this morning. So good to see you. And I do apologize for my camera not functioning. And it's a pleasure to be able to respond to that. So the most significant advantage is that it allows more effective facilitation of relationships, to have a one-to-one alignment with the council member, a one-to-one relationship with that. Overall, there is low awareness within the general public of the role of the school board as a resource to facilitate. But when we think of constituent service, it hasn't been that long that we've had elected school board representation. And the overall public is not aware of the role that the school board can play in facilitating that. Delegate Pastor, when you served on the school board, you had particularly close relationships within your community. It's why you serve now. That is unique to you. And it's something that your community is gifted and remains blessed by your presence in your community. That is uncommon across the county. And it's something that I found I've been able to meet more of my community through my working partnership with Councilman Marks in the 5th Councilmanic District, by having that one-to-one alignment in the district and by partnering on key initiatives. So through contacts with the council office, his office has been able to connect those constituents with me. As you're very well aware, this is not a full-time job by any means. The burden that it would place to work with multiple council members and to respond to constituents across councilmanic districts, I cannot imagine what that would mean in terms of an increase in time commitment for the role. As I mentioned, this is not a full-time commitment. The constituent service already is quite labor intensive for our school board in and of itself. So that coordination is more effective when you have that one-to-one relationship, both in building those relationships and primarily serving our schools, serving our school families and our schools themselves, and being able to effectively foster and facilitate that. So I hope I've answered your question. I can give more specific examples, but primarily in building those relationships and working together on those priorities for our schools and our school families.
Well, I thank you, Mrs. Hen, and it is good to see you as well, even though I really can't see you, but I can hear you. So thank you. And you're right that I have very strong relationships with the people in my community. But I have to say that, and as Councilman Patoka says, I did win all of my precincts. So yes, that goes to having taught and done a number of things in that area. But I also know that when it came to the things about which we spoke, he had very little to say. He trusted what I did. So again, I point out that as a school board member, and you're right, there was a time when it was not as well defined and delineated from school board member to others. And we both know that there were times people didn't know who the school board members were or who their particular one was. And that has to do with going out and being a part of the community, whichever community it is at any given time. And I do think that our at-large members who are responsible for more than one area do a fine job. And that goes back to the bill and saying maybe we need time to reflect on how we work with our at-large people. But again, thank you for the compliment.
Thank you, Delegate.
Of course, and thank you for the question. And we do, if I may offer one
We're
follow-up.
a little tight on time, and you have had
Of
a very
course.
good chance to answer. We have a hard stop at
Thank you.
10:50 here.
I
So I'm
understand.
keeping an
Thank
eye
you.
on things. Delegate Naraki, a question for one of the three witnesses.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I do have a question. This question actually is for Mrs. Heng. Ms. Heng, it's good to see you this morning, or hear you this morning. So I have a two-part question. The first part, when you were giving your testimony there and when you're answering Delegate Pastor's question, you are coming at this from a unique perspective, correct? You have both served as a elected member of the school board and also an appointed member of the school board. Isn't that so?
Yes, it is. Thank you for the question, Delegate Naraki.
Okay, thank you for that. And second part to the question, Ms. Hen, is have you had any difficulty establishing relationships with other council members? Obviously, you have a close relationship with Councilman Marks because that's the district that you represent in alignment with his, but have you had difficulty establishing relationships with other council members that could be useful to, furthering the students in your school board district?
Not at all. I have very positive relationships with all of the council members, and should they reach out to me, I serve, am happy to serve them all, as I am to serve any of our school stakeholders that reach out to me. And I've worked with all of our council members. So, and like you said, I was appointed in 2016 as an at-large member, serving the countywide, and my service has not changed since I became an elected member in 2018. So my service has not changed. I do work more closely with Councilman Marks because we share districts and have been able to work on particular projects within our district. I've worked with you, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Shalega, and our 8th district delegates as well, because we share geographically schools across the districts. However, because of the alignment of council districts and school board member districts, why I feel so passionately is we were able to do that deep dive and develop those relationships, those deeper relationships, work on specific projects, both capital operating projects within the schools, and really provide the level of representation that schools and school families deserve. And that is why I'm so passionate about this bill, because I believe that our public deserves that level of representation. And if we all believe they need that on the council, they deserve that on the school board as well. Hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see no further questions. And so this brings us to the end of the hearing on House Bill 41. We will, of course, sometime in the very near future, all these bills. I think a quick piece of house cleaning. There is a bill at the end that has a number of witnesses. I worked with the sponsor, Delegate Naraki. We already decided that one would be delayed. We'll see how many of the remaining ones we can actually accomplish in the 20 minutes or so that I see us having left. And to that, we will move to House Bill 305. This is Baltimore County Nuisance Actions Community Associations. This is Delegate Grammer's bill. Delegate Grammer, you have the floor. Is Delegate Grammer online?
Delegate Kramer was on the call. I don't see him on here right now.
I see. Okay. I'm going to move to the next bill and see.
Move unfavorable.
Yeah, it would be great, wouldn't it? That if somebody doesn't show up for their testimony, but I think we'll find a way to actually. I'm sorry to the witnesses who are here for this bill. I don't feel comfortable moving forward with the hearing without the sponsor to testify on it. I know you all have been waiting, and that is an unfortunate inconvenience for you in this particular situation. We'll try to accomplish a few more things here so that we are suspending the hearing on House Bill 305. And now we're moving to House Bill 121, which is Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverages Sale of Off-Premises Consumption. The sponsor of this bill is Delegate Shalega.
Good morning. Thanks so much. It just took me a second to get my audio to work. I hope you can hear me. This is, for the record, Delegate Kathy Shalega testifying today on House Bill 121. This will not take long. You all heard this bill last year. This is exactly the amended bill that passed unanimously out of the Alcoholic Beverage Subcommittee. It passed unanimously out of the delegation and got held up on the floor last year. Senator Carl Jackson has the cross file of this year. I don't anticipate any problems, but just to, we have thousands of bills, just to remind you what this bill is. It's called the Cocktails to Go bill. Just simply says that restaurants with liquor licenses will be permitted under the county alcoholic beverage liquor license will create the regulations for this. We're just enabling them to do that. And it will say that if you're a restaurant and you serve to-go food, you can include with that a to-go cocktail. We did this under COVID. It was spectacularly successful. And, I'll remind you of a restaurant like Taco Love in our district, Delegate Naraki in my district. They have wonderful Mexican food. You could pick up your wonderful to go on a Friday night and take with you a margarita. Now, to remind you, currently, I brought a couple of examples. You could go today to Taco Love, get your to go, and they're allowed to sell you cocktails in a can. That are pre-made. They could actually sell you a handle of vodka, and you could buy that from them. If you went there to eat and you drank half your bottle of wine, you could put a cork in it and you could take that with you. So, there were mostly negative impacts, from COVID, but we did develop some policies that I think served customers and served small businesses. And today, in a time where it's really tough on restaurants, I think this is a great opportunity for them to expand their business plan. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you. And since we have one in support, we'll attach that to your testimony. Jack Malani. Mr. Malani, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi, Jack Malani, Baltimore County licensed beverage. We're going to keep it short and sweet. We're in support of the bill.
Love you. All right. Delegate Naraki, you have a question for either the sponsor or the witness.
Yes, Mr. Chair, could either go to the sponsor or to Mr. Malani, whichever one. It's actually two questions. One, this bill, just so I'm clear, I think I heard it, requires that you have food when you go to so you have to get, say, in your example, Delegate Schlegel, you have to get, a Taco Love to be able to purchase that, correct? But
yes, that's correct. And it also, we excluded DoorDash. You have to personally go in to ensure of age. You have to have food, and then, we'll let the liquor board figure out the rest of the regs, but yes.
But as the law is written now, with respect to, say, a cocktail in a can to go, I don't have to buy food with that, right? I could go into an establishment and get that can to go and already walk out. So there is like another layer of protection essentially inside of this bill.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Cardin.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Thank you, Delegate Schlega and Jack. I just want to confirm, Jack, that this doesn't discriminate against any license holder that sells food is going to be allowed, is going to be captured under this bill. It's not just like a certain type of restaurant or something like that.
No, any Class B that has off-sale privileges, which are probably 95% of them. Some of your exception BDRs are not allowed to do any off sale, so they would not be able to do this. But probably every restaurant in your district that you can think of will be able to do this as long as they sell a meal to go with it.
Got it. Well, a meal or some French fries as
No,
usually
it's pretty specific. It's a meal.
It's a meal? Oh, it
It's
has to
a
be a meal.
meal,
Oh,
yeah.
good. Okay. Because, well, what happens though when all I eat for dinner though, Jack, as you know, is French fries.
I don't think your doctor would
We'll
approve,
put
Delegate.
gravy on
Okay.
it. Delegate, we'll put gravy on it or something.
Perfect. I'll strike that. Thanks.
Thank you. As we often do with bills that affect functions of county government, Ms. Twessa, if you would, does the county want to weigh in or have anything to say about this bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this moment, the county will be taking no position on this bill.
Thank you very much. I see no further questions and we have no opposition. So this concludes the testimony on House Bill 121. Look at us. Okay, now I am on House Bill 127, which is Baltimore County Property Tax Credits, Public Safety Officers, and Public School System Employees. Delegate Metzger, can you take the floor, please?
You're going to love me, Mr. Chairman. This bill has been, I pulled it this morning. It's being revamped. It's not the bill that I wanted. It's not designed for that. It was another bill and complicating in conversation with the bill drafters. This is for volunteer firefighters. It's going to be redrafted. Okay. So
are we removing this bill from consideration or are we waiting for amendment?
You're going to be waiting for the amendment next week.
Okay. And then we'll testify when you think you're ready with that to tell us about the amended version. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. That concludes for now the hearing on House Bill 127. We now move to House Bill 211. This is Baltimore County Property Tax Credit, Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 34, and the sponsor is Delegate Naraki.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll go quick. Just read my statement from the other day, Mr. Chair, in Ways and Means. For the record, I'm Delegate Ryan Naraki requesting a favorable report on HB 211, which is Baltimore County Property Tax Credit for the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 34. This really is a simple bill. I know we hear that all the time here, but this really is a simple one. It would authorize Baltimore County to grant a property tax credit for the Maryland Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 34, which is the MDTA, the Transportation Authority Police Lodge in Middle River. FOP 34 represents the men and women of the Maryland Transportation Authority Police throughout the state. And they seek to promote their interest in safety as well as encouraging social, charitable, and educational activities among officers. The group is a nonprofit largely funded through membership dues, and a property tax credit would relieve a significant burden and allow the organization to further increase its work on behalf of its members in the community. There are already 25 similar community organization buildings listed in the tax code. So we are not like this. We're not reinventing the wheel or creating the wheel, I should say here. So there's many others that are authorized a tax credit like this. This bill would simply add FOP Lodge 34 to that list. Should the county council grant the property tax authority, and again, the council would have to then do that. They would have to grant that. It would have a very minimal impact on the county budget. FOP Lodge 34, their most recent property tax bill was about $12,534. But the fiscal note actually came in. I think there's been some reassessment of property values. The fiscal note came back and says this is actually about a $96 or $9,600 impact to the county's budget. So in addition to being an active union hall for its members, this facility is also an active regional hub for community meetings. Numerous local organizations utilize the facility for award ceremonies, banquets, holiday celebrations, and other events. The lodge is also hosts its own well-attended community events where the community can come have breakfast with Santa and trunk or treats, things like that. The property also sits on the legislative District 7 and 8 border. So it really is a community hub for more than just my district, but multiple districts. And it is also a place that the county government utilizes for many different things. An example, on February 5th, the Baltimore County Department of Public Works and Transportation will host a meeting, by the way, for free at the building for a community sewer line project extension for a bill actually that we heard last year about a community that needs some sewer services in my district. The Baltimore County Police Department also utilizes this building for free to stage for activities in Eastern Baltimore County. And they're there quite a bit because I live around the corner from this building. So I see them utilizing this often. So again, FOP Lodge is a uniquely valuable institution for its members in Baltimore County. And this bill would significantly benefit the organization and its future success. And I would ask for a favorable report. And that is it from me, Mr. Chair.
So just stay here. Okay, is he done? My computer froze up. Sorry, everyone.
Yes, I'm done, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Delegate Rocky, we have one witness to testify in favor. It's Jim Krasinski. I appreciate, sir, that you waited all this time. President of this FOP Lodge that is in question. Sir, you have the floor for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I will be very sensitive to your time because I know you're running on a clock. Delegate Rocky basically covered it all. I am the president of FOP Lodge 34. We do have almost 600 members, and we sit on Wampler Road in Middle River. He did tell you about all the community events that we do yearly, and they are majority attended by community members. We do host a multitude of events for different police organizations. The Maryland Transportation Authority actually uses our facility as a satellite training location for their training academy, which also is in Baltimore County. They do our K-9 facility, has training here, and they do leadership training here. We do donate toys to the Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital. We are the central location and collection hub for that toy drive, which we do twice a year. And they have recognized us as their top donor of over 9,000 toys donated to that hospital over the past few years. So at the risk of repeating everything that Delegate Rocky said, I would just ask for a favorable report on this bill, and I will gladly answer any questions you may have.
All right, we're fighting this way.
Let me know when it's on.
I'm working on it.
We can hear you on your.
Turn yours on, because I'm okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry for that. I feel like I'm back on a bit, but we appreciate your testimony. This is also a tax authority, so I will let the council weigh in. Did she hear me?
Mr. Chair, are you now giving the county the floor?
Okay.
Awesome.
Now,
Well, thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, the county will not be taking a position on HB 211, but we would like to relay our fiscal impact that Delegate Naraki has already provided. And again, thank you, Delegate Naraki, for presenting this bill and trying to support the community surrounding. So given that legislation is enabling, and if enacted by the council, it would provide a $10,000 to $12,000 impact yearly for the county. But we also would like to recognize the work that the lodge does do for its surrounding community and the support that it does provide. But we would like to be cautious about the precedent that it may set. Again, this lodge is not a Baltimore County Police Lodge. It does belong to the Maryland Transportation Authority. But there are several other police lodges in the county that we would not want to set a precedent for when it does come to private entities. And as a private entity that does receive revenue as well, we would just like to point out that it also does support the community, but it is not necessarily a community-based nonprofit. It is still private. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Chairman.
And thank you. I'm sorry about my tech. Everybody else is apologizing, and I am too. Delegate Cardin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. This is actually for the county. Thank you for the testimony. I was going to ask you the question, but you answered part of it. So Delegate Naraki mentioned that there were 34 other entities that already have this type. Is the county saying that none of them are either FOP lodges or other types of nonprofits that service in the public safety arena?
Thank you for your question, Delegate Cardin. We would have to do more research on that. I do not have an accurate answer for you, but we are aware that there are volunteer firefighter stations that do receive a property tax credit that provide immediate resources and services for Baltimore County residents. At the moment, we are not sure if they are all FOP, but what I can do is provide you a response after.
Thank you. It sounds to me like there is some sort of precedent that's been set, but you're not sure exactly whether this is going to expand that precedent or not. And that would be a very helpful information because, you know, we need to move. I think these guys are wonderful. This is a wonderful organization, as you have already stated, that does amazing work. And maybe we want to make sure that there's a good relationship between all of them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, and Delegate Szeliga.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is where, I guess, the sponsor, how many other police calls are there in Baltimore County that this bill could possibly apply to?
Thank you for the question. So there's exactly one other, the FOP Lodge 4, which is the Baltimore County Police Lodge, would be the only other similarly positioned organization in Baltimore County that this could apply to in that regard. With respect to Delegate Cardin's question a moment ago, the 25 other buildings, Delegate Cardin, that are recognized inside of the code are nonprofits. They're all various community halls. In fact, a bunch of them actually are in my district. Things like the Bullies Quarters Improvement Association that has a community building is one. Why I don't think that this necessarily radically creates something new here, Delegate Cardin, is because the way that the code is structured now, you're literally inserting names into there. So these buildings that are in the code are called out by name. It literally says the Bullies Quarters Improvement Association, the Bird River Beach Improvement Association. This would do the same thing. It would put that building by name into code. So we wouldn't be necessarily creating a whole new category, but literally putting a building by name into law.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see no other hands raised at this time. I didn't know if the county wanted to add anything to that testimony. Just give you a quick opportunity since this would be impactful before we conclude the testimony here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, the county does not have anything additional to add.
Okay. Thank you very much. That concludes the hearing on House Bill 211 and concludes the intended agenda for today. Thank you all. That was a robust meeting, good discussion. I appreciate the civility that existed among all of us on ones that we don't necessarily agree on. And you have about 11 minutes to get over to the floor. Thank you all very much. We are adjourned.